What's up, world? It's time for another Boom Shaka Lager beer time review. Very spontaneous. I had not planned to make a beer video today, but I've been outside, been running errands, been outside in this heat, working on the car, doing all this shit outside. So I went to the beer store, the craft beer store, and I spotted a UFO on the way. Saw a UFO, and I was like, man, I've seen that UFO somewhere before. On one of the YouTube channels in the craft beer community, I'd seen this beer called UFO. I was like, that looks familiar, I'll give that a try. It looks refreshing. So there you go, boom. This, my friends, is not normally how I roll, but it's a Shandy, which is kind of like a wheat beer, like a Hefeweizen, unfiltered, right? And a Shandy has usually been infused with some sort of fruit flavor. Not a wine cooler or a beer cooler. This is beer that's been made, and then they add the juice later on in the process. They don't brew it with the grapefruit or with the lemon. There's a lemon Shandy that's pretty good too that I've had. So I thought, what the hell, man? I'd seen this on Craft Beer Community World, so it can't be too bad. And we got your Big Squeeze Shandy UFO by Harpoon Brewing up on the northeast Boston side. Look at that cap, that's sexy. Alright, and per the blueprint, pour it in the glass. Let me try this out. My first impressions, is that you can't see through it. It is a foggy, unfiltered mess. But that's typical with your, again, with your hefes and wheat-based beers. Bam, it's got that grapefruit. It's like breakfast. I just need to make some bacon and some eggs with this shit, man. Boom! That is absolutely refreshing and delicious on this hot summer day. It's been all of 100 degrees. I know football season's coming up. Got my Texas stuff on. Hook 'em horns, metal, hook 'em horns, metal. See? It's easy to convert during this time of year. I can easily flip metal back to hook 'em horns. Anyway. So football season's coming up. Can't wait. I kind of dropped the bomb and scheduled a concert for the same day my fantasy football draft. So concert takes priority over the show, so I'll be missing my first fantasy football draft in over 12 years for our money league. So that's disappointing. I'll get an auto pick team or whatever. Have to manage that, trying to bring that back from the depths of auto draft hell. But back to the beer. This is very unusual. It says right there, beer plus grapefruit. Big Squeeze Shandy. Unfiltered offering. Very unusual. It's not an IPA. It's not citrus like you would get in an IPA. Because the citrus in an IPA comes from your hops and the fermentation brewing process. This is beer that was made and then added grapefruit juice. So, that being said, very different. It's a alcoholic grapefruit juice. I'm surprised that our craft beer chairman enjoys this as much as he does, considering his affection for the IPA, but it is very tasty, and it's I'm not sure I could session it, like 3 or 4 of them, or a 6-pack, because of its acidic nature. Probably might give me a stomach ache. I don't know. We'll have to try it out, see what happens. Grapefruit juice with me is usually very acidic. Can give me kind of a stomach ache, like apple juice or something like that. I'm just sensitive to that kind of thing. But anyway, talk about upcoming video I got coming up. I've been out shopping today, and I found 6 different kinds of craft beer glasses. I mentioned this in my last video that I thought it would be kind of cool to do a lesson on the types of beers go with what type of glass, serving glass. Only craft beer does that, folks. Malt liquor, macro brews don't have different types of glassware for different types of beers. You know, and it'll be a learning process for me as well too, as I study up on the difference between and why a Pilsner glass is the way it's made, and the way that a snifter is the way it's made, and a stout glass, and a pub glass, and then there's the pint glass. There's at least 6, and the 7th one, the snifter, I could not find, so I will still have to find a snifter glass, very similar to a brandy glass, actually. But I have a glass that's similar. That Chimay thing is similar, but it doesn't have the tapered top that it needs to have to serve its rightful purpose, as each glass has. You know, the tulip glass, all these glasses have a specific purpose to complement the beer. I know that sounds silly to some of you guys, but it's science, all right? Just like wine, you know, they'll sit there and let it breathe and stuff like that. Well, the same thing applies to beer. Craft beer is an art form, and it just need not any old beer just be poured in a pint glass, and you know, sure, that works, but to truly deep dive into the craft beer world, you must understand how each beer applies to the delivery system that is the glass. So we'll get into that in my next video or two. I have to do some research on this as well. Wash those glasses. I'm not going to drink them right out of the box from the store. I got to sterilize them and make sure that they are willing receptacles, cleansed, sterilized receptacles for the next craft beer video. There you go. UFO Big Squeeze Shandy. Kind of sticky. The juice that's in that. But anyway, THX Inc. Spinal Tap sliding scale. You know, for what this beer is, it's good. It's a shandy, right? It's gonna have that fruit flavored bomb in it. And you know, my scale is based on the true essence of craft beer, so we'll give this a 7.6, 7.7 in there somewhere, just shy of an 8, only because it performs well for what it does. It's refreshing on a hot day. It's you know, that's about it. And it tastes, girls will probably like this, right? Because it's kind of like a wine cooler, but it's really beer. I don't know, it's much different. I've still got 5 more in there. It's not going to dip below 100 degrees for at least the next couple of weeks. So I've got some more opportunities to enjoy another or 2. And but yeah, UFO Big Squeeze, not bad, but it's not true essence of craft beer in my opinion. It's kind of gimmicky, you know. But you'd be surprised that there is an increasing popularity of shandy styles coming out. I know Sam Adams made a lemon shandy that was pretty good. I actually enjoyed a 6-pack of that not too long ago, and it's more about the taste and the flavor of the infusion of the fruit and the beer together. It's more about that experience than it is the beer itself. You know, it's more of a customized beverage. Again, it wasn't bad. So there you go. THXC Summertime Beer Review out.